So how should that an intrusion detection system work with a car? Do you think it's more the back end thing, or because in automotive, when we talk about automotive data, we gather, we generate, we don't gather it yet, but we generate so much of data, gasoline data, your torque data, data relates to the street. So these could be valuable data in terms of innovation. At the same time, you can exploit this data to perform attacks.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So how? What's your take on intrusion detection system?
And on the other side, you can actually use those metrics to understand what the baseline is, and then if there is a deviation. Just give you an example from the mainstream computer world, like mainstream operating system. If we take like the latest and greatest versions in Windows, for instance, the Windows 10. It actually measures your normal consumption of memory, disk IOs, CPU IOs, etc. So it has its own awareness about what's normal and what's abnormal for this user. Okay, you normally start this web browser and you do this and that, you consume this much of memory. So there is a baseline already known. So if you deviate from that one, we can instruct the system, says, hey, if memory consumption all of a sudden starts spiking, and we start seeing an abnormal amount of memory being allocated, please terminate that process. So that metrics could be something useful to find the abnormal activity going on. We need obviously to collect more metrics. It's all about it. The game is not more strange than that. So we need to understand what type of networking traffic we are supposed to see. What is normal, what is not. How does it look like? We need to do extensive monitoring to understand that baseline. Once again, there are different baselines to speak about. How much IOPS are we expecting this thing to perform? Is it doing something strange right now? Is there a reason? Is there a situation where, we encountered something on the road, we need to act, and then a lot of more IOPS are going on. So we need to start looking at all these different channels that exist. So the networking, one of them, the intra-communication protocols, something that goes within, something that goes external towards backend system, telemetry system, other type of systems surrounding us. So all of that should be looked at, and then it's always a question about, okay, who should make that judgment? If we start gathering that much of telemetry, where should that go? And who's capable of analyzing that much of data all of a sudden?
On top of that, we have the GDPR.
Exactly. So there are a lot of questions yet to be solved about that. We don't really have, or we do actually have similar issues. Like today, the most advanced analysis system that does the behavioral analysis, they are cloud-based. So you collect your telemetry, you send it to cloud service. The cloud service will do AI-based big data analysis on it and tell you almost immediately what's happening and what you should do. So is that ever possible in a moving vehicle? Do we have that bandwidth? Do we have the time? Do we afford that, the latency for that computation time?
Yeah.
And how should we behave around that? So that means we need to bother more about building. As I said, there are no 100% secure systems, but we need to start bothering about more to get as close as we ever can do. We probably have a very high percentage level, but we still have some issues, but probably it needs way more advanced technique to exploit those issues. So that's a lot of investment. That's something, if you look at security software, that's the type of investment we should expect, right? So I would put that in comparison to the most critical components in the vehicle must be dealt with as if they are security-based systems. So we should do proper investment to get a hold of all these moving parts and then get them handled the right way.